All the characters in the story are over 18 years old. From a young age, I knew that I wanted to become a cardiologist, and I invested a lot of my time and energy in this to enter the institute. Unlike many of my friends, I had never had a girlfriend, and the opposite sex was far from my thoughts. I grew up with my mom. She and dad divorced when I was only 3 years old. He moved to live in the USA and never married again. My father was a successful businessman and was incredibly rich. He sent us monthly transfers in dollars, which were more than enough. He also called and emailed us once every 2 weeks to find out our needs for something. My mother worked as a pediatrician in the Department of Internal Medicine. Her job required alternating shifts, and for most of the week, half of her schedule, she worked the morning shift and the other half the night shift. Despite her busy work schedule, she managed to do well around the house. The house was always clean, food was in the fridge, and until recently, when I finally got a car, while still in school, I got my license and this car was my mother's gift to me. I liked Mom's calm and smiling demeanor, and I considered her the best mom in the world. When I became a freshman at the medical institute, my intention was to focus on my studies, as before. However, I soon realized that it wasn't as easy as I thought. Of course, I devoted most of my time to studying, but there was no hiding from after-school parties, and they happened regularly. Although alcohol was not officially allowed until the age of 21, it was always available to us. Two of my new friends got me into this lifestyle, and I started dating girls. The first girl I dated was 2 years older than me, a pretty brunette with a sporty figure. When she found out that I had never dated anyone, she said, "It's very amazing. You are a tall, very handsome, smart, and funny young guy. Because I'm going to be your first woman." She laughed. "Arnold, college years are years of fun. Enjoy your time while you're young. You'll have time to focus on medicine later." 2 months later, I left her for Amelia, a beautiful blonde. Soon, I lost interest in her because she depended on social media and her mobile phone never rested. In fact, I had similar problems with my next 3 girlfriends. Although they were pretty girls with beautiful figures, their lives revolved around constant phone calls on a mobile phone. A year later, I met Olivia. She was a short, middle-aged woman. At the store, she asked me to help her get a package of peas from the top shelf. I did as she asked and noticed that her cart was overloaded with groceries. Like a true gentleman, I offered to help roll the grocery cart to the parking lot at the store. Olivia thanked me and invited me for coffee. She told me that she divorced her husband 5 years ago and was looking for a couple on the internet to meet. I was joking. Why would that man be me? She looked at me and replied, "You are young, handsome, and a gentleman. Why do you want me? Because I'm old to you." I looked at her. Olivia was about 40 years old, maybe a little more. Her face was cute, surrounded by shoulder-length blonde hair. I liked the way she looked, and I said, "Olivia, if your question relates to your age, it doesn't matter. I would rather date a mature woman who knows what she wants than a stupid young girl whose interest lies in endless conversations on a mobile phone." Olivia and I went to the movies together, and later we made love. At first, she was very shy, afraid that I would find her age-related body repulsive. This made her a real woman of age. More importantly, she liked everything I did with her. The experience was very pleasant. I really liked Olivia as a woman. She was a wonderful hostess, an excellent cook, and a cheerful companion. Our relationship ended abruptly when she received a call from her mother, who was hospitalized with a massive stroke. Olivia's mother, who lived in a distant city, needed her help. I mourned the loss of Olivia and became depressed. Mom immediately noticed that my mood had deteriorated. She joined me in front of the TV when I was watching a football match and asked, "Arnold, my dear boy, I hate to bother you during the game, but I've noticed that you haven't been feeling well lately. Is there anything I can help you with, son?" "I don't think you can help, Mom. You stopped going out after college, and you don't laugh like you used to. What's wrong, son?" "If you really want to know, Mommy, my girlfriend had to leave me forever. You, my son, never brought her here, so I don't know anything about her, but judging by your reaction, you loved her very much." "Yes, she was perfect for me." Olivia wasn't young, but she was the perfect friend and lover. "What do you mean by not very young?" "She was 42 years old. I am stunned by her age. She was 2 years older than me." "You're a real stud, just like your father was when he was your age. And that's why you can date most pretty young girls. What attracted you, Arnold, to our age group? Every attractive girl my age cared much more about her appearance, the latest fashion, and chatting on her cell phone than about enjoying real life. Mom chuckled. You mean making love, son? I grinned. That's never been my problem. However, at other times they showed no interest in anything. Was making love to a woman in her 40s as satisfying as making love to a 20-year-old girl? It was even better. Mom had a strange smile. I wonder. I wonder what? It doesn't matter. Would you like to go to the cinema with me? We can watch a comedy that will cheer you up. I hate to see you so unhappy, Arnold. Mom, you don't have to do this. I'll be fine. This is not just a favor for you. I haven't been to a movie in ages. Look on the internet and let me know what movie and at what time you will be ready. I smiled. It was so unlike Mom to take responsibility. She was usually very quiet. I chose the latest Tom Cruise movie. We had an hour to prepare. After dinner, Mom went to her bedroom and said, "Darling, I'll be ready in 20 minutes." She closed the door of her room behind her. I shaved, put on a clean long-sleeved shirt, and sat down to wait for her. She opened the door, leaned against the jamb and asked, "Arnold, darling, is everything okay?" She looked into my eyes and grinned. "From the way you look, I assume you approve, but if I'm wrong, tell me and I'll put on my usual clothes." Mom, what is this? Where have you been all these years? Dear son, you've always seen me at home. Why wear fashionable clothes at home when it's comfortable to walk around the house and other things? I didn't answer, but the way Mom looked beautiful was imprinted on my brain. Why have I never noticed that Mom is so beautiful? The cinema was half empty. An elderly couple was sitting on the other side of our row. There was no one nearby. Mom was thrilled to get to the cinema and even more so to see Tom Cruise. She said, "When I was younger, my dad and I went and watched his films. Mission Impossible, Jerry Maguire, and With Eyes Wide Shut. We were very naughty and sometimes made love right during the movie session in total darkness. Is that how Dad held you during the movie?" She laughed. I grinned and whispered, "Mom, have you been very naughty?" She sighed. "Those were the happiest moments of my life until I had you, son." The lights went out, and a movie began to be shown on the screen. Mom's eyes stared ahead while my mind wandered. We watched him for almost half an hour. Then, at the moment of waiting, Mom tensed up. Her pulse was very rapid. I whispered, "Mom, it's just a movie." She didn't look in my direction and muttered, "I know, but still." Another scary scene occurred 10 minutes later. Cruz was in real danger. Mom stopped watching the movie. Instead of returning to her original sitting position when the dangerous situation was over, she held me with both hands, as if fearing that another terrible moment would come. I was joking. "Is this how you and Dad started your good times in movies?" She laughed. "Sometimes. Dad loved to take me to horror movies." I waited patiently for the next frightening scene, wondering what she would do. About 5 minutes later, it happened. I noticed that her pulse had accelerated. Although the scene was not dramatic, she turned to face me and whispered, "Darling, what are you doing?" My God. As the father did, so does the son. Watch the movie. I can't. I noticed that her eyes were closed. She slowly turned her head in my direction. She didn't say anything, but she opened her eyes and looked at me with love. She whispered, "What are we doing? It's a sin." But I didn't listen to her, and we made love right in the cinema, not paying attention to other people. "No, it's not like that." Mom trembled and muttered, "Darling, I can't watch the movie anymore. Please take me home." I helped her up and carefully led her to the exit. I was driving home speeding. I was lucky that the police didn't catch me. Mom was sprawled in her seat with her eyes closed. I parked in front of the house and went to the passenger door. I opened it. Mom continued to sit. I woke up early in the morning. Mom's door was closed. I brushed my teeth, got dressed, ate, and left the house. I knew Mom wouldn't be home when I got back. She was working the night shift. I was driving back from the institute, and on the way, I stopped at a flower shop. I bought red roses, put them in a beautiful vase, and attached to it a postcard depicting a heart pierced by an arrow. I went to bed at 10 o'clock at night. The next day, Mom came in before I left my room. I knew I'd see her after work. I was stressed, and could hardly listen to lectures that day. In the afternoon, I walked through the front door of the apartment with my heart pounding like a madman. I saw my mother working in the kitchen in a bathrobe. She whispered, "Thank you for the beautiful flowers. Please, Mom, tell me that you want this too. I don't want to force you to participate in something you don't want to do." In the first year, Dad and I loved each other. We parted amicably. I understood his needs, and he paid handsomely to support us. After the bliss I experienced with your father, parting became a heavy burden, especially for my physical needs. In the first 10 years after the divorce, he came to visit several times. About a year ago, he asked to send the current photo. I emailed him the photo you gave me. Dad replied, "He looks so much like me. He is like me in the incarnation. I started seeing you in a different light and saw you in my dreams." Mom chuckled. "You really are the epitome of your father." Everything was very pleasant. I remembered my mother saying and smiled. Mom asked, "What's so funny, son?" I remembered your words, Mom. My God, like the father, so is the son.